They praised him in 2012. Now they want him to apologize. In the next few minutes, you will hear exactly why Rufai and Abati say the presidency just exposed itself. But before we get into the clips, I want you to actually think about something as you watch this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this administration right now? And if you had 5 minutes, I mean just 5 minutes alone with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like the bishops did, what is the one thing you would tell him to his face? Keep that answer in your head, because by the end of this video, I want it in the comments. Here's where it gets interesting. Rufai didn't just defend the Cardinal, he went for the throat of anyone attacking him. Watch this.
Wow, so I have to sit down here and talk about the hypocrisy of the APC this morning. What a job to do. I don't need to talk much as regards this Onaiyekan debacle. All I'll do is I'll take you back to 2014 November. My colleague seated here with me, Dr. Abati, remembers that interface. November 2014 in the villa. A certain Cardinal John Onaiyekan came to the villa. He said things were not well in the country. This same APC called Cardinal John Onaiyekan a voice of reason. They praised him to the high heavens, this same APC. They said everything well about Cardinal John Onaiyekan. In fact, there are many APC people that saw him as a symbol of speaking truth to power. They were happy to take pictures with him in public and call him our own Oscar Romero. They loved him, they lapped him up. They took Cardinal Onaiyekan's criticism and they lapped it up. My colleague here, Dr. Abati, was on the receiving end then. But the question we should ask them today is, what changed? Isn't Cardinal Onaiyekan a bastion of speaking truth to power any longer? Oh, there was no problem with it when Cardinal Onaiyekan spoke truth to power against Goodluck Jonathan. You lapped it up, you took the sound bites, you said it was a divine representation that things were not well. But when he says the same thing to you, because Cardinal Onaiyekan is constant as a northern star, then you start to legislate and lecture him on spiritual and, can I use the word, ecclesiastical and episcopal matters. But when he said it in 2015, on 2014, it was a good thing then. So for all of those that have replied and said one or two things about Cardinal Onaiyekan, yes, you will say those things to justify your paymasters and make it look as if you're working for your paymasters. You wouldn't do otherwise, because you have to defend where you're earning your pay. But can't you see that your hypocrisy speaks so loud? People cannot hear what you say, like Ralph Waldo Emerson says. Can't you see it is shocking that you yourself that are suffering the biting economic pangs and the conditions in this country, that more people have had to ask you for money and more people have had to depend on you because you're in government? Can't you see that it is hypocritical? Because you must not be seen to come outside to say things are not well when you deeply know that things are well. So it's a daunting job for me this morning to respond to the hypocrisy. My practical response will be, dear APC, what changed? Cardinal Onaiyekan was a hero in 2014. Why is he not an hero today? Is it because of the mandate? And whose mandate should Cardinal Onaiyekan speak for? Mandate of man or mandate of God and conscience?
Let that sink in for a second. 2012, 2014, 2015. This same church was a hero for calling out Jonathan. Today, the exact same voice speaking the exact same way is suddenly the enemy. Rufai's point isn't really about the bishop or anybody. It is about who gets to criticize power and when. And it didn't stop there, because Rufai wasn't the only one saying it. Dr. Reuben Abati came in with something even more direct, and this is the part that has really got people talking.
Cardinal Onaiyekan, I think, some education here. The Catholic Bishops' Conference, highest body, decision-making of the Catholic Church in Nigeria. They have a secretariat, the Catholic Bishops' Secretariat, the Catholic Church Secretariat, based in Lagos here. Over the years, let's just mark it and say since 1999, that Catholic Bishops' Conference has established itself as a voice of reason in this Nigerian society. It refused to be intimidated during the military period and stood for democracy. It has established itself as a conference that promotes the ideal of the prophetic church. It is Father George Usani who has articulated that concept of the prophetic church in a book of the same title, saying that the church stands firm to defend the interests of the congregation and to promote the interests of the weak against the interests of the oppressors. And so when John Cardinal Onaiyekan leaves a meeting with the president and he grants an interview on television and he says, well, the president seems to have a wrong idea of the reality of Nigeria. And we told him what the reality is, that the people are suffering, that the education sector needs to be rescued, that poverty is a major problem, and that his government is not delivering the objectives. And then Daniel Bwala comes after him. My brother's name? Ajayi Temitope also comes after him and says that the cardinal is talking nonsense. The cardinal does not need anything from them. He's not one of those people who mix religion with politics. And just for purposes of clarification, both Temitope Ajayi and Daniel Bwala, they've asked John Cardinal Onaiyekan to apologize. He's not going to apologize. because that's not how the Anglican Church behaves, and that's not how the Catholic Church of Nigeria also behaves. Now, ADC and some other political parties, they are backing up John Cardinal Onaiyekan. The Catholic priests, they are well trained, they are well exposed. I don't know of any Catholic priest that would bow before state secular authority. So, maybe government should just take the feedback and just move on, because John Cardinal Onaiyekan is not going to apologize. He has said it, and the duty of the church is to speak truth to power.
Two respected voices, same accusation, back to back. That is not a coincidence, sincerely speaking. That is a pattern forming in real time, and it tells you something about where this is heading. But this isn't just about two men defending a cardinal. Ayo Mairo-Ese took it further. She made a case for why this fight is actually bigger than anyone or Onaiyekan.
When the Catholic bishops, some of the representatives had gone to meet with the president, they had said categorically that this statement representing was not from them, that they were representing after deliberations, rigorous deliberations from the Catholic Bishops' Conference. They were just acting as spokespersons. The second thing is that when you look at bona fide, who are they? Why would they have the opportunity or the right to tell the president what is happening? Because a huge chunk of Mr. Temitope Ajayi's statement was around the fact that they were not really representing the views of many Nigerians, and that facts that they had could counter their assertions around the state of the nation, economically, security-wise, and in other areas. Number two, the fact is that the Catholic Church has about approximately 35 million followers in Nigeria, one of the largest in the world. Number two is that we understand the Nigerian climate. Religious leaders, whether of the Catholic faith, of the Christian faith, or the Muslim faith, and every other and other faiths, act as almost micro-local governments to the people. In fact, it's been said that they often understand because of the influence that they wield. So we know that these are people who are not just coming out to speak. There's a backing of the legitimacy that has been given to them by the people that they lead. I mean, to be quite fair, we don't have the records whether or not it was said to be off record and there was an agreement or an oath that was taken that whatever was discussed in this meeting would not be put out. Even before Cardinal John Onaiyekan gave that interview to Arise News, there were already videos that came out of that meeting. There were already press releases. Perhaps what was offensive to the presidency was that it was not a narrative that was controlled by them in the area of a press release. And so when he came out to give his own, his account of the event of what happened, it then became a huge problem.
If I must say, that is the real weight behind this story. This isn't just one clergyman's opinion the presidency is trying to brush off. It is an institution with tens of millions of followers, one that is historically stood on the side of good governance. Discrediting that voice isn't as easy as calling it inappropriate. I stumbled upon one particular tweet, and it has to do with what Senator Shehu Sani said. From the era of military rule and throughout the period of civilian government, the Catholic bishops have a consistent history of telling truth to power. They have never been partisan. Every president they have visited, they bring him a gift of bitter kola instead of olive oil. So now the real question isn't whether the cardinal was right or wrong. It is whether the presidency can survive three of the most respected voices in the country from three different angles, all saying the same uncomfortable thing. And that's exactly why this story isn't over. So go back to what I asked you at the start. Rate this administration 1 to 10 and tell me honestly, what would you say to Tinubu if you had just 5 minutes with him like the bishops did? If you want to see how this same tension is playing out over the 2027 race, go watch my last breakdown on the INEC list and Jonathan's exclusion. And by the way, I have a video coming up covering that part too, because it actually connects directly to everything brewing. Don't forget to like this video, share with someone, because we need to keep everyone informed on what is happening. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. I will see you in my next video.